Hello everyone, this is Simone Bellassai. I'm the CDR FoodLab Division Manager of CDR, and in this webinar we are going to talk about the CDR FoodLab systems for the quality control for beverage. I have already recorded another webinar about the same food application, the CDR FoodLab for food analysis. So now I'm going to quit the camera and we start talking. Start talking about the CDR FoodLab for beverage, doing this presentation. Okay. Okay, there you are. Okay, so another part of the CDR FoodLab range of products is the systems for the quality control of beverage. Okay, so in general we can say that I'll introduce a little bit before CDR. Who is CDR? CDR is a company that started its activity around 1970. More or less 50 years ago in the telematics sector. And after 20 years, around the late 90s, CDR started a completely new sector, and at that time, in collaboration with a big international group into the blood analysis, CDR started the development and after the production of devices for medical diagnostics. Devices based on photometrical principle. After, again, more or less 10 years, CDR transferred the know-how of the medical diagnostics into the food diagnostics, starting developing different kind of devices for food, where food means oils and fats, egg products, milk and dairy products, tomato sauce, and olive oil, and so on. After this time, around the end of around 2010, more or less 2009, CDR entered into the beverage sector, starting the production of the WineLab at that time. So here you have an overview about what we do in the food and feed sector. We work in the milk and dairy products, as I told you, egg products, tomato, and bakery products. And in this case, we use the FoodLab analyzer, CDR FoodLab analyzer. About the beverage, we work in the wine sector, in the beer sector. Of course, we are able to analyze water as well as raw material for the beer production. We work in the cider sector and also in the Kombucha sector. And in this case, we have 4 different analyzers: CDR WineLab, CDR Beer Lab, CDR Cider Lab, and the CDR Kombucha Lab. About the oils and fats sector, we are able to work with all kind of oils, and in this case, we can work again with the CDR FoodLab, or we have also 2 specific analyzers designed respectively for the olive oil analysis, the oxy tester, and the palm oil tester for palm oil. Okay, we sell all over the world. These systems are sold worldwide. Of course, we sell these analyzers through distributor. We have a good distributor network, but of course, we sell a lot directly. This thanks to the easiness of the system. So we are able to ship the analyzer from Italy, because CDR is an Italian company, to United States or to Brazil or to Australia, and the user is able to open the box and start using the system. Okay, so what is the CDR FoodLab range? So in the CDR FoodLab range, we have, as we've seen before, the CDR FoodLab. We have all the analyzers for beverage, as we've seen. We have also oxy-tester and the pub oil tester. So talking about the system in general, we can say that the FoodLab, the CDR FoodLab, or the WineLab, beer lab is the same, is composed by, the system is composed by an analyzer, the reagents, and a pipette. So with these three parts, we are able to realize the quality control, in this case, for beverage. And as you can see written, these systems are easy to use and versatile, and they allow you to determine a wide panel of parameters for food and beverage. In general, we are going to see in this presentation specifically those systems for beverage application. So the system is composed by a thermostated analyzer based on photometrical technology. We use LEDs as wavelength sources. We don't use normal tungsten lamps. As far as the reagents are concerned, the reagents are supplied in packages of 10 tests. So in the package, you find 10 pre-filled cuvettes ready to use and already calibrated, all designed and produced by CDR. So both the reagents and the analyzer are developed and produced by CDR. Of course, the conjunction ring between the analyzer and the reagents is the pipette to collect the sample. So, which are the most important features of CDR FoodLab in general for beverage application? Of course, we have reduced testing times because CDR improves the methods, and after this work, we are able to have in a few minutes. With a specific kit, we are able to have in a few minutes a result. So, for example, we can have a result in 10 seconds or in 5 minutes, okay? The system is very easy to use, so everyone can use this kind of systems. The reagents are ready to use. CDR develops and produce their reagents. We produce our reagents, we can say, and so thanks to this fact, the reagents are ready to use because, as I told you, we produce pre-filled reagents in pre-filled cuvettes. Okay. And again, another big advantage is that thanks to the easiness of the system, you can use it at the production line. So you can transfer the quality control from the laboratory to the production line. The system is very strong. So, and we need to say that we have to say that. You don't have any maintenance to do. There is no movement. There are no movement parts, and So thanks to this, the system is very strong. The last but not the least, we don't need any calibration. The analyzer is already calibrated as an analyzer, and also the reagents are calibrated because we calibrate the reagents on our machines. So in the end, we have a closed system calibrated and ready to use. About the calibration, I'll explain after how we are able to produce it. This is a typical example of the use of CDR FoodLab or WineLab again, or the others. You can have okay, I forgot to tell you that of course we have two versions. We have a big analyzer and a small version. So as you can see here, you can put the big analyzer into the quality control laboratory, while you can have different several small analyzers at the production lines. So you can have the very same method into the quality control laboratory and at the production line, with all the advantages of it, because you have the same easiness both in the quality control laboratory and at production line. Okay, what are the instruments features? As I told you, we don't have any maintenance to do to our analyzers. You don't need calibration. You are able to perform analysis in two ways. Here, as you can see, we have an incubation part, and in the front of the analyzer, you have a reading part with the LEDs as wavelength sources. So this means you can perform 16 analyses in about, let's say, 10 minutes at the same time. So in the same 10 minutes, you are able to perform up to 16 analyses. So you can run, you can carry out the same parameter on different samples, okay? You can work also in another way. Using the multitasking mode, you can put 3-4 different cuvettes to perform different analyses, and you can run them at the same time. So you can realize different analysis at the same time. As I told you, the system is very strong, so we give to all our customers a 3 years warranty. And you have also to perform the analysis, you need a procedure. And in this case, for all our systems, the procedure is directly on the screen. So the user can read step by step the method directly on the screen, crossing out all the paper methods. Okay, all the paper. We don't need paper in this case. You can only focus, the user can only focus the attention on the screen and follow step by step the method. Of course, we can connect the analyzer to the computer. We can share the results into an intranet, and of course, here we have also the possibility, if you do a mistake, you can validate or not the results. So we have also a database into the analyzer, so you can find all the results into the analyzer. You can export the results to the computer and so on. We have also the possibility to manage a barcode or a QR code reader. Here, with this specific device, you can scan the barcode, and the code or QR code, the barcode or the QR code is automatically displayed on the screen. So you can manage your samples using barcode or a QR code. What about the reagents? As I told you, we produce the reagents, we develop and we produce our reagents, and we calibrate our reagents on our machines. The kit, the specific kit, is made by a package with 10 pre-filled cuvettes inside. As I told you, the reagents, the pre-filled cuvettes are ready to use. We have, of course, a precision sampling using a pipette. In this case, we use a normal air pipette for the beverage part, while we use a positive displacement piston pipette for the oils and fats. Okay. So, as I've already told you, reagents, very important reagents, already calibrated by us. So the system is ready to use. The user doesn't need to carry out the calibration. The user has to do just the analysis. About the shelf life, we have normally a pretty long shelf life for the reagents. Normally is around one year. What is the reading principle? We have two kind of techniques. The left one is an endpoint reaction, so we add into the cuvette the sample or another reagent, for example, that is, of course, in the package, ready. We read the blank, we read the starting point, the first level of the absorbance. After that, we add another reagent that starts the reaction, and after 10 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum, of course, this depends on the kind of the chemical reaction. We read the absorbance again. So from this is the delta of the absorbance that is our signal in this case, and this delta of absorbance will depend. It will be connected to the concentration. Now we are going a little bit deeper into the technical detail, but this will be to explain how we are able to calibrate our reagents. The other kinetic method, here in this case, we don't need to read any blank. We add the sample into the cuvette, or after the addition of the sample, we have a reagent that starts the reaction. So we keep, in this case, the cuvette into the reading cell, and the analyzer reads second by second the increasing of the absorbance. In this case, after 1 minute, the analyzer calculates the slope, and the slope will be our signal, and the entity of the slope will be connected to the concentration of what we are analyzing. Okay, so now we can talk about the reagents calibration. So how we can perform, how we can carry out the calibration. In this case, how we can do it. Here you have an example about the L-malic acid determination. So we determine L-malic acid by an endpoint. So our signal will be a delta of absorbance. So we collect different samples with distributed with different values, with different results in terms of malic acid, well distributed into the range we are working. Okay, into the range we want to develop a calibration. So we analyze this malic acid with the kit, and we will have a delta of absorbance each sample. Of course, we need to choose a reference method, and we will analyze the same samples with the reference method. After this work, we are going to cross the results that are the delta of absorbance for each sample and the real result in grams per liter for all the samples. By this crossing, we get this calibration, okay, where we have on the x-axis the sorry, it's written in Italian, the delta of absorbance, and on the y-axis you have the real value from the reference method. So here we can calculate a slope and an intercept, and in the end, the analyzer is going to calculate the result with this formula, with this easy formula. Grams per liter of L-malic acid equal K multiplied by delta of absorbance plus Q. So this, of course, we produce the malic reagents always in the same way. So we have a specific internal quality control that allows us to reproduce always the same, the very same reagents that will give us the same signal depending on the malic acid concentration. So thanks to this, we are able to put directly the correlation parameters, the calibration specific for this reagent, K and Q, directly into the analyzer. So we have an analyzer calibrated with, of course, a reagent, a specific reagent calibrated for L-malic acid. This is the concept of the CDR calibration of the reagents. Okay, leaving apart now the technical part, let's have a look at the competitors. In the beverage sector, normally the competitors are titrations, NIR, F3IR technology, or UV visible photometry. We can also insert into these competitors also the HPLC measurement. So here you have a table of advantages and disadvantages about CDR systems for beverage, titration, NIR, FTIR, and photometry. Okay, so about the advantages of the CDR systems, of course, as we've seen before, reduced analysis times, optimization of the procedure, pre-filled reagents ready to use, no glassware, no toxic reagents. You don't need, again, any calibration, and you don't need any maintenance on the systems. You don't have treatment to do, or if you need it, it is pretty fast. Okay. The last but not the least, the analyzer can be used at production line. About the titration, of course, is an advantage. The reagents are pretty cheap, but you need glassware, you need different equipments to run all the parameters we are going to see after with different CDR analyzers. You have to use sometimes toxic reagents, and you have complex procedures. So you need technicians, you need people with chemical skill to run this kind of analysis. About NIR or FTIR, you have, of course, reduced analysis time, no reagents, no glassware. So this is good, but contrary, you have very expensive analyzers. You need a calibration, a strong calibration, not easy to perform sometimes, and you have normally a pretty expensive maintenance. We have to say also that they are not chemical methods, they are statistical methods. Photometry, of course, you can have with about the normal photometry, you can have the advantage to use a normal photometry that the user can have into the laboratory, but the user at the same time has to calibrate the reagents that he has to buy on the photometer. So in this step of calibration, the user can make mistakes. Okay, and of course, normally this kind of normal kits are pretty complex. Okay, let's see the range of these analyzers for beverage. So, as I told you, we have WineLab, a beer lab, a cider lab, and a kombucha lab. So, as you can see, in all these sectors, you have fermentation. So, in all these analyzers, you will be able to manage for sure fermentation, but of course we will see that we can manage many other things. Let's start with the WineLab. With the WineLab, this system is developed for small, medium, or big wines. It can be used by analytical consultants because the analyzer is portable. Okay, so you can put the analyzer into a suitcase and go around carrying out analysis. Of course, thanks to the easiness and to the easiness of the methods and to the fact that these methods are very fast, the WineLab is used also by institutions or research centers. Of course, you can analyze the whole winemaking process from the grapes to the wine in bottle. Okay, so you can, for example, evaluate the ripening of the grapes. You can analyze the grape juice, the must, during also the fermentation. So you can manage the fermentation, and you can analyze the finished wine. Okay, so with this system, we are able to analyze the entire winemaking process. Here you have a list of the parameters. As you can see, with only one analyzer, we are able to carry out many different parameters. And the most important thing to say is that you can run all these parameters with the very same handling, because the methods to get results about all these parameters are more or less the same. So if you have learned how to use the system, you are able to do all these parameters with the very same handling. And of course, if you consider the traditional methods to run all this, you need to be a chemist. So this is the big advantage of in this case of the WineLab, but you're going to see that it is the same for the others. Okay, so practically you can manage, as I told you, the alcohol fermentation using, for example, the fermentable sugars analysis, or we are able to carry out yeast assimilable nitrogen. We can detect the alcohol, we can check the acetic acid. We can manage also the malolactic fermentation through malic and lactic acid, or we can manage the polyphenols along the entire process through the analysis of the TPI, the total polyphenol index, or the color, catechins, and so on. We can check, of course, it's one of the most important parameters in this sector, free and total SO2. And as you can see here, we have also a specific group of analysis to check champagne or sparkling wine in general. So acetic acid, gluconic acid, galacturonic acid, and glycerol. So as you can see, and as I told you before, we are able to manage the entire winemaking process. What about the beer lab? In this case, the system is designed to be used by small, medium, or big breweries. it can be used again by consultants, in this case brewer consultants, and again it can be used by institutions and research centers. In the case of the beer lab, we are able to analyze beer and wort, of course, but we are able to analyze the water as well, because in this sector, water is a raw material of the beer production. So again, we are able to analyze the whole beer making process. Again, here you have all the analysis we are able to do. So alcohol fermentation management, fermentable sugar, alcohol, or zinc. Zinc is very important in this case. Zinc in water. Or we can check the match process by the starch analysis or the pH. We can manage the bitterness through the IBU analysis. We can check the lactic acid. Again, here we can check SO2 or FAN, that is important for both beer stability and yeast nutrition for the fermentation. On the right hand, you'll find also the parameters we are able to run on water: calcium, magnesium, potassium, sulfate, bicarbonate, chloride, zinc, and also alkalinity. So, as you can see, in only one analyzer, you have a lot of possibilities in terms of analysis. What about Cider Lab? Cider Lab is more or less a brother of the WineLab. We can say that cider, let's say this, is a wine made by apples. So again, the system is designed for small, medium, and cider producers, cider consultants, or again institutions and research centers that work on cider. More or less, the analyzer is pretty similar. We can check the alcohol fermentation. We can check the malolactic fermentation, because also in this sector we can have a malolactic fermentation. We can check the polyphenols. Sorry, of course, here we don't do anthocyanins, but we do only total polyphenol index. And we can check also free and total SO2 on cider. The last product we have recently developed is the Kombucha Lab. Kombucha is one of the drink is growing a lot recently, so we have thought to develop a specific and dedicated analyzer for kombucha. So again, in this case, the system can be used by kombucha producers, kombucha consultants, or again here by institutions or research centers. We can run analysis like this: malic acid, acetic acid. If we manage or if we promote malolactic fermentation into the kombucha production, we can check the alcoholic fermentation through the fermentable sugars or alcohol, or we can check the acetic acid over the fermentation. We can check gluconic or glucuronic acid that are pretty important for the taste of the final products. And of course, we can check the total polyphenol index. Yeah, as I told you before, the system can be used by all the producers of kombucha, from the smallest one to the, oh, I forgot, the big producers of kombucha. It can be used by kombucha consultants, or again by institutions or research centers, as I told you before. So in the end, the advantages of the CDR systems for beverage, the systems are easy and fast. You don't need any chemical expertise to use these kind of systems. The user can take decisions quickly in a few minutes about the process, from 10 seconds to 10 minutes. You can realize a complete in-house quality control in the process because, as I told you, you can run a lot of analysis just putting the system on a desk and having the packages of the reagents. The analyzer can be used by everyone. You don't need chemical expertise. Again, this is very important. And of course, you don't need any chemical expertise. So this is why also the system is already calibrated by us. So the user has to do only the analysis. You don't need any glassware, and as I told you, just with the desk, the analyzer, you can check the whole production process, that is wine making process, beer making process, kombucha making process, or cider making process. Okay, thank you for your attention, and I remind you that there is also another equivalent webinar that talks about the CDR FoodLab for food quality control. Okay, of course, if you have any question, you can write directly to us. We are glad to answer you. Bye-bye.